here gets tough. Yet, even here, the platypus thrives. Its thick fur provides near-perfect insulation as it forages for a sparse living in the frozen tarns. The spring thaw turns mountain streams into torrents. Humans are rare in the remote Tasmanian wilderness, but platypuses are plentiful. There's prey to catch with their probing bills under every rock. Shrimps and worms, and the larvae of aquatic insects.
I've looked for platypus up and down the east coast of Australia, but the wild rivers of Tasmania are the greatest place to find them. But even here, they're difficult to see. They seem to meld into the water and rocks, and then suddenly disappear.
When Europeans first encountered it, the platypus seemed almost too weird to be real. The name comes from the Greek for flat-footed. Yet it was the creature's duck bill that most fascinated 19th century zoologists. "200 years on, we're just beginning to understand what a remarkable instrument it is. In fact, there's a lot about this secretive animal that we're only finding out now. As the early naturalists discovered, the platypus is not an easy animal to study. Its burrows may run back into the banks for 30 metres. And they soon learned to be cautious. They found that the venomous spur of an angry male caused pain and swelling that lasted for weeks. So it wasn't till the 1880s that scientists confirmed that the platypus really did lay eggs. By the early 1900s, they were learning how to keep platypuses alive in captivity. In 1944, naturalist David Flay successfully bred from a captive pair called Jack and Jill.
Months ago, David Flay noticed Jill was building a nest. He knew she was building up her milk supply. He then dug down and uncovered the burrow. To his delight, he found a youngster, already well grown.
But this would be the only platypus born in captivity for 50 years. And even today, little is known about how they breed in the wild. A quiet valley in northern Tasmania, in the headwaters of the South Esk River. An unassuming farm dam proves an ideal site for biologist Nina Kosh. She needs to trap a female platypus, the first step in an ambitious project.
It's really unbelievable that these farm dams can be such a good place for platypus to live in. They seem to be enormously productive, ideal habitat for females to breed in.
I heard about Nina's work in Tasmania and came over to join her. Perhaps she may be able to help us in our quest to find breeding platypus.
Nina has been fascinated by the platypus ever since she saw one on TV as a child. Now she's come all the way from Germany to take part in a 2-year study. The aim? To find out more about how female platypuses raise their young. First, Nina measures the platypus's exact dimensions. the tiny craters in her leathery bill are receptors. Some are sensitive to touch, others to the minute electrical impulses emitted by her prey.
Just keep on. Yeah, that will do. Be probably all enough. Not healthy enough.
Next, Nina attaches a tiny radio transmitter to the platypus's fur. It needs to be tested thoroughly before next year's full-scale breeding study. Nina decides to call the female Shy, after a platypus character in a children's book. Within days, Nina has identified the precise location of one of Shy's sleeping burrows on an island in the dam.
We've tracked Shy for a couple of days now, and we could follow her to this island. And she's sleeping right here in her burrow, and we are going to put an infrared video camera in so we can see what she's doing in her burrow.
Just before dawn, Shy returns to sleep. For Nina and her partner Marcus Utesh, this is the first view of a platypus underground.
There she is. She's coming in.
Next year, they'll try to get a camera inside the burrow of a breeding platypus.
That is absolutely great. Wow.
A few weeks later, Nina and Marcus find a baby platypus near the dam. It's only just emerged from the nest. Soon after, they find another, bigger youngster.
This baby looked much more like an adult. It weighed 610 grams, so double the size of the one that we caught before. We released this baby in one of the farm dams, and then it started immediately to feed along the border of the lake. We tried the next day to see it again. I sat on the pontoon and paddled towards the little platypus. He just stopped feeding and suddenly even came closer to me. He was by far more curious than afraid.
Nina is hooked. This will be an ideal location for next year's study. The only other animals on Earth that are even distantly related to the platypus are the echidnas. Like the platypus, the short-beaked echidna has looked much the same since the age of the dinosaurs. It too has evolved a highly specialised mouth, not a bill, but a beak, which can be used as a crowbar if need be, and a long sticky tongue to pull ants and termites from deep within their nests. Despite their different lifestyles, the echidna and the platypus share one crucial characteristic. They're the only surviving members of an ancient group of egg-laying mammals, the monotremes.
That's pasta.
Peggy Rismiller and Mike McKelvey have been tracking and studying echidnas for 15 years. What they've discovered about the echidna's breeding cycle may help David Pera in his pursuit of the platypus.
Let's whisper.
Up to a dozen echidnas at a time may be carrying transmitters.
Okay. It's always worth seeing what Harry's doing.
What Harry's doing is looking for a mate. Mostly, echidnas lead solitary lives, but when a female comes on heat, males will gather from far and wide.
But the females emit a scent, and the scent is called a pheromone, and it's something that humans often can't smell, but obviously the males can smell it. The pheromone, of course, would be able to go cross-country on wind and attract the males. And we've seen males cross this peninsula several times and then eventually end up with a female.
Hari and several other males are already here. And Whisper is on his way.
Yep, he's there.
Whisper joins what's called an echidna train, a group of males all paying court to a single female.
Okay. She had no burrow over here?
A train can stay in place for up to a week, with the males constantly jockeying for position. They must be patient, but ready for instant action. Mating will take place just once, when the female decides that the time and the partner are right. To try to capture the elusive courtship ritual of the platypus, David travels to the far north of Queensland. Here, in the tropical rainforest, the mating season has already begun. This female is feeding hard to ready herself for the rigours of motherhood. Every 40 seconds or so, she must surface to breathe. This is when she's most vulnerable. Eyes and ears are open wide, alert for danger. But as soon as she dives, she shuts them tight. Using only the sensors in her bill, she's built up a detailed mental map of her feeding ground. And she knows its inhabitants too, especially the resident cormorant. The white-faced heron minds its own business. The cormorant minds the platypuses. Each time the platypus dives, the cormorant follows, snapping up shrimp and small fish flushed out by the foraging platypus. And if the platypus rests too long between dives, the cormorant lets her know it. In this particular river system, almost every pool has several resident platypuses and a single cormorant ready to exploit them. The other inhabitants of the pool give the platypus no trouble at all. The azure kingfishers are peaceable neighbours too. They may occasionally snap up fish and shrimp she drives to the surface, but at least they don't harass her to dive for them. Most platypuses have a broader home range than a single pool, This muddy tributary to the main stream is a favourite feeding ground. Platypuses make their way up the creek at all hours of the day and night to feed. They can sense the vibrations of their prey through the receptors in their bills.
I've been here for about 3 months now and been desperately trying to find a place where the platypus are courting. I think we might be onto something here. This is firm flat. It appears to be dominated by a male, and he does his patrolling, and again it appears that there's a female who I think is just coming up to her burrow or area that she spends a lot of time at now.
As the light begins to fade, the platypuses start to make their way further up the narrow creek. There's even better feeding where it runs through cleared farmland, but the platypuses will only venture there at night.
This is an ideal creek to film platypus with an infrared camera. I really like using infrared cameras because you can capture behaviours at night that no one's ever seen before. We put up a red light. The platypus can see the red light, but they don't seem to be disturbed by it. Sitting there beside the bank of the river with the water running through my boots and the legs of the tripod in the water, as the animals slowly worked their way up towards me, they would stop and glance up and then keep on coming. They were totally unafraid. In the first hour after dark, 6 platypus passed me. And then a water rat appeared. Water rats are about the same size as a platypus, but much fiercer.
A few nights later, David Perra sets up his infrared equipment on a bridge overlooking the main river. Just below the bridge, a big male platypus has established his home range. But tonight, he has a challenger from further up the river. The resident male is grooming himself on a log, apparently unaware of the intruder. Despite being caught by surprise, the resident male has won the encounter easily. He hasn't had to use his most damaging weapon. The poisonous spur on his hind leg is fed by a venom gland that in the breeding season reaches its maximum size. Day and night now, the big male patrols his home range. He's spotted another male lurking behind a stump. Without hesitation, he steams into battle. Whether platypuses regularly use their spurs in these encounters, or whether they're weapons of last resort, we don't know. In this case, the resident male is triumphant, and a female is ready to be courted. The male grasps the female's tail, and the courtship dance begins. The dance can continue for 20 minutes or more. Whether the female is courted and mated by many males, or just one, is something else we don't know for sure. Finally, it looks as though the male mounts the female and mating takes place. The bare patch on her tail may be a sign that she's been courted often in recent days. Now she's returning to her nesting burrow. 1 or 2 eggs, perhaps even 3, are on the way. Healesville Sanctuary in southern Australia. Much of what we know about platypus mating and breeding has been learned by Les Fisk and his colleagues from the captive animals at Healesville Sanctuary. For 10 years, a male and female platypus have lived in this elaborate artificial world. Through a maze of tunnels, pipes and tanks, video cameras record their every move. Two years ago, for the first time since David Flay's success in the 1940s, Fisk managed to breed platypuses in captivity. For most of the year, Karina, the female, will have nothing to do with N, the male. But spring is in the air at Healesville Sanctuary. David Perra has already been manning his remote cameras for 2 weeks. Today, finally, the preliminaries are over and the serious courtship has begun. The moment that she's ready to mate can be fleeting. N is determined that he's the one who'll be around when that moment comes. But her attempted escape was all part of the ritual. Karina soon returns to the dance. Two years ago, this couple successfully produced twins. Judging by the way the courtship is consummated, the signs are good for this season too. Summer has come again to Tasmania, and its wild rivers are swollen with melting snow. In a quiet backwater, as temperatures rise and the days lengthen, a female platypus is collecting material for her nest. She takes leaves one by one in her bill and jams them under her tail. To safeguard it from flooding, she's dug the entrance to her burrow several metres up the steep bank. Over the next few days, she'll make dozens of trips like this, until the nesting chamber at the end of her long burrow is lined with sticks and leaves. Back on the South Esk River, Nina Koch and Marcus Utesh are joined once again by David Pera for the start of a new season's work.
In the early afternoon, we go down to the South Esk River and set up a series of nets. These nets were originally designed to catch eels, but they're also really good and safe for catching platypus as well.
Ja, genau.
They position the nets across the water flow to trap the nightly traffic of platypuses as they feed up and down the river.
In the late afternoon, the platypus come out of their burrows and start feeding. They're very good at avoiding nets because their sensitive bill can pick up the water flowing through the mesh. Many evade the nets, but eventually we catch one.
Judging by the dates that last year's youngsters emerged from their nesting burrow, Nina and Marcus have worked out that the females will be laying their eggs very soon. Now is the time to fix radio transmitters to them. This one has a large bare patch on her tail, a sign that she's probably been courted intensively.
The tail. Yeah, but on all the animal. This might be a mating mark. All the fur is away from the tail surface.
They discover that she's one of the females they trapped and tagged last year. In fact, it's their old friend, Shy.
80-17, that's Shy.
Wow, we got Shy back. We'll come back.
Great.
After several weeks' exhausting work setting nets up and down the river, Nina and Marcus managed to catch 7 females. Each one is fitted with a new transmitter and released back into the river exactly where she was caught. For Nina and Marcus, it's the start of another period of intense work, tracking all 7 females for hours at a time. They find there's a wide variation in the platypus's behaviour. Some feed mostly in daylight. Others sleep during the day and feed all night. Some travel 1 kilometre or more up and down the river each feeding session. Others, including Shy, feed in one pool most of the time.
Where's the strongest signal coming from? Downstream or?
Nope. She must be sitting in there.
Wow.
Shy sleeps in the same burrow each day. Nina and Marcus want to pinpoint its exact location because there's a good chance it's where she's built a nest and is nursing her young.
Get reception here. And it's getting weaker.
Which gain do you have?
10.
Gain 10, maximum gain.
Gain 10 and I only have like 1. I would say it's about here. It must be around here. Not this point here. Gets weaker here.
Yeah. But it's exciting. Get another burrow.
Yep.
And we should
And
mark
this one
the
looks a bit.
entrance.
This one looks a bit different than the others. Yeah.
We should mark the entrance. To
Meanwhile, Peggy Rismiller and Mike McKelvey are still keeping track of their echidnas.
You think try again from here? Oh yeah, right towards that cypress.
3 weeks ago, this female was at the head of a mating train. She should by now have laid an egg.
Okay, I'm just going to feel first. A very tight little pouch.
quite a bit there because my fingers.
Just be very careful because there's an egg. Oh my Jesus.
See if you can get it closer down your way.
I'm going to pull the pouch open.
There's
There
the
it
egg.
is. There's the egg.
It's an egg
And
there.
it's a girl.
10 days after the egg is laid, a puggle will hatch.
In the egg, the echidna develops an enamel-covered egg tooth. It needs this egg tooth to actually rip open this leathery shell and then pull itself out onto the mother's belly. Look, there's the back of it. Inside the pouch, it's really moist and humid because that's what the puggle needs right now. As far as we know, at 2 grams, it has to breathe through its skin.
Tiny though it is, the puggle can safely be removed from its mother's pouch for a minute or so. At 2 days old, there's almost no difference between a baby echidna and a baby platypus. Less than 2 weeks later, it's already 100 times heavier than when it was hatched.
It's a girl.
The baby echidna by now has a discernible beak, just as a baby platypus would have a recognisable bill. After 7 weeks in the pouch, the mother leaves her young one in a burrow, returning every 5 days or so to let it suckle. Instead of nipples, the mother has specially adapted paws, clustered in patches on her tummy. As the baby suckles, the mother expresses the milk through her skin.
It doesn't need its eyes. I think it's like all very small animals. They go on scent. And so the young is scenting where the milk patch is.
At 6 months, the young one is almost ready for independence. Back at the South Esk River, Marcus and Nina have decided that the time has come to try to take a look inside Shy's nesting burrow.
Kann das noch ein Wader sein von dir?
Shy has been feeding regularly for 16 hours in every 24, returning to the same burrow each day to sleep. They're sure she's nursing young. It's late evening. Shy's already left the burrow to feed. Nina, Marcus and David have at least 8 hours to try to get a glimpse inside the nesting chamber. First, Marcus drills a hole carefully into the burrow roof. Frequent measurements over the past 2 weeks have told him exactly where and how deep to drill. Meanwhile, David sets up and tests an endoscope with a tiny video camera mounted on its end.
So down is like that.
Yep.
So straighten it up. It was really exciting going down into the nest chamber for the first time. Those are roots coming down into the top. And then we saw the entrance to the chamber itself. And the nest was a really complex structure. It was tightly woven leaves wrapped around with sticks and roots. And there was even some green plastic in amongst the leaves. Yeah, that's the roof there, I think. But that's when our frustrations really began. Over a period of 17 days, we went in 6 times into the burrow, but we just couldn't penetrate the nest. And then at last, we got the endoscope through the nest wall. We first glimpsed a tiny bit of flesh through the leaves. And then another period of frustration, half an hour trying to get a glimpse of the bill.
Oh, it's Platypus. Yes.
The bill looked huge through the endoscope, but it was really only a centimetre long. The front feet already had claws. And then, to our amazement, we saw there were 2 babies, not one, crammed into the tiny nest.
Thank you.
3 weeks later, we went into the burrow again, and we found them immediately. It's incredible. They'd grown enormously, now they were covered in a thin layer of fur. There were even visitors inside the burrow.
What is it?
It's a tick. I think it was a tick.
The ticks are only found on Platypus, and already they're feeding on the blood of the young ones. Their bills are now large and very dark. We think the young are now about 6 or 7 weeks old. We're eager to see how the various parts of their body have developed. Their front feet have webbing between the toes, and on their back foot is the beginnings of a spur. The smaller one is female. The larger one has a much bigger spur. It's obviously a male. We called him Bigfoot. The nostrils are huge. We think they're probably used to find the milk patches of the mother. And here, the smaller one is rubbing the tummy of the larger one, as if it's trying to suckle. It was a revealing 3 hours in the burrow.
Nina is spending hours each day by the riverbank recording Shy's feeding patterns. It's late summer on the South Esk, and vast numbers of insects are hatching from the river. It's an ideal time for Shy to be feeding her young.
She's just feeding enormously. She spends 16 hours out in the river, and she just goes along the river, and wherever she is, just feeds. Unbelievable hungry little female.
A nursing platypus will consume up to half her body weight in food every 24 hours. Most of it consists of tiny morsels, which she must somehow find and separate from the leaves, mud or gravel on the riverbed. When she gets to the surface, she chews with a sideways motion of her grinding pads, separating out and swallowing the food. In a single feeding session, she may dive up to 1,000 times. Tonight, the team plan to go into Shire's burrow once again. So, while Nina tracks Shire to make sure she's out feeding, the team drills a new hole into her nesting chamber. This time, they're installing a tiny remote-controlled camera that will be able to film Shire feeding her young without disturbing her. Illumination comes from miniature infrared lights, which she can't see. And as well as the camera, there's a microphone to pick up sound inside the burrow.
That's the big one. There, oh.
The babies are now about 13 weeks old. Their eyes are open, their bills are fully formed, and their coats have grown thick. While Bigfoot plays with tree roots in the roof of the chamber, the smaller one is perhaps getting ready to take on solid food. Nina warns that Shire is on her way back to the burrow. As she approaches the nesting chamber, she unblocks the earthen plugs which she set there to protect her young. Then she's through into the chamber.
Here we go.
Within minutes, the eager young are greedily suckling from their mother's milk patches. But the team is about to see behaviour that no one has ever seen before.
That is amazing. The young stopped suckling and then began to rub their mother's bill. Are they taking food from her? Perhaps getting a taste of those little animals that they themselves will be eating in the next few weeks? Or are they drinking her saliva? Maybe getting some of the bacteria that will strengthen their immune system. We don't really know what we're seeing in these extraordinary pictures.
Soon, Shire's had enough. She busily rebuilds the nest around her young. And then she's gone, leaving a tangle of tails and bills behind her. Ten days later, on watch as usual beside Shai's pool, Marcus and Nina spot one of the young platypuses in the water. Bigfoot, the male, has emerged from the nest. The team watches, enthralled, as the last chapter in the drama they've been following for months unfolds. Bigfoot needs no tuition from his mother. Minutes after his emergence, he's swimming and foraging expertly along the bank. He asserts his independence swiftly. Within a few weeks, he's travelling well upstream from his mother's pool. Soon, he'll have to leave this rich feeding ground. He's trespassing on the home range of older, larger males.
As Bigfoot begins his journey of life, our journey of discovery is coming to an end. We know nothing of what he does in the next couple of years. In fact, I feel that we've only just scratched the surface in understanding the platypus, one of the most mysterious animals on Earth.
As night creeps across the planet and our familiar daytime world is plunged into darkness, strange creatures are beginning to stir. This is when most animals are active. The drama of their nocturnal lives hidden from our eyes. Now, a team of scientists and filmmakers is on an expedition to the remotest parts of South America.
Whoa! What is that?
Armed with specialist technology, they will attempt to discover the secrets of the night.
Holy...
I'm getting it. She's hunting.
It's a journey into the unknown.
I shouldn't really be out here alone.
A world where we are blind.
Please, don't leave me up here.
I don't know what that is.
Technology will reveal it as never before.
Now, right now is the most dangerous time to be out here. He will attack you.
The mysteries of life in the dark.
Don't run.
Over 6 months, the expedition is traveling the length of Central and South America, from the pristine rainforests of the north to the darkest heart of the Amazon jungle. They've been using their new technology to illuminate a world hidden from human eyes. Now, on the final leg of their journey, they have come to solve more nocturnal mysteries in a new and very different environment. the southern tip of South America, Patagonia.
Bryson, we're going to head off now. We're going to check out another ridge line.
All right, we're going to take the other road and loop back around.
Heading up the team of wildlife experts is biologist Dr. George McGavin.
We've come to the Torres del Paine National Park, right at the southern tip of the Andes, and we've come here to look for the largest ranging land carnivore in all the Americas, the puma.
The puma is the top predator here. They're a crucial part of the mountain ecosystem, but their behavior has been little studied.
We're pretty sure we know what they do during the day. They sleep. But what a puma does after dark is a black book.
There is a higher concentration of pumas here than anywhere else on Earth. The team will use their specialist cameras to build a more complete picture of their lives.
They've never been filmed hunting after dark, ever. If we can do that, that will be the holy grail of puma ecology.
Their first challenge is to find a puma. That means splitting up and searching by day for possible lairs. 3 miles from George, nighttime camera specialist Justine Evans scans from the air.
So it's huge, huge area. And there's a series of ridges and valleys, lots of lakes, endless little rocky outcrops where pumas can hide away.
Justine is guiding a third team member, biologist Bryson Voirin, the expedition's tracker.
You know, the most difficult thing about this place is actually finding a puma. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, except this needle is moving around.
Bryson has spent years studying nocturnal mammals. If he can identify where pumas are hunting, then Justine can return at night to film them.
Be careful in there. You don't want to corner a puma or scare it.
Justine, I'm seeing lots and lots of game trails here, so it seems like there's a lot of activity with animals.
By working in different areas, the team hope to maximize their chances of finding a puma.
I'm just looking for anything I can see, tracks or signs, bits of remains of animals, anything that will hand us a clue. You know, hunting animals, you have to be sneaky, you have to have a strategy to catch whatever you're eating. And if you're doing it after dark, you have to have a special suite of tricks up your sleeve.
Here, the puma's meal of choice is guanaco, an ancient cousin of the llama. They are constantly alert, almost impossible to hunt by day, but at night, they are vulnerable.
Ooh, wait. There's a kill here. Look, just right next to me. That is a puma kill. Right under that bush. Now it's been hidden. What they do is they hunt for their prey and they jump on its back, and then after it's killed, they can't possibly eat an animal of this size in one go. So they hide it under all this brush and it's completely hidden. They then come back over 2 or 3 evenings and eat it all. And that is the remains of a kill. So there's a guanaco, that's all that remains of it. There'll be no more eating here. That's just skin and bone now.
It's proof that a puma is hunting here. To see the animal in action, the team must return after dark. "300 miles south in the Magellan Strait, a second part of the expedition is underway. Wildlife cameraman Gordon Buchanan will use state-of-the-art technology to shed light on a marine mystery in these rich waters.
It's probably one of the most treacherous bodies of water in the world, but it is also one of the most unique marine environments. And the reason being, we've got the Atlantic and the Pacific coming together right at this point, and what that leads to is a biodiversity on an epic scale. You've got creatures in this water from the very smallest to some of the planet's biggest.
One of the largest is the humpback whale.
Whoa, big humpback whale just here. Spectacular. And there's more, just here, maybe 300 meters away.
Most humpback whales pass quickly through the Magellan Strait. This group chooses to stay here for 3 months of every year.
So little is known about what takes place during the day under the surface of the water, and absolutely nothing is known really about what takes place at night time.
Gordon hopes to solve a puzzle that has mystified the scientists that study these whales. They can hear them coming close to shore at night, but can't see what they're doing.
Gosh, look at that!
Gordon's specialist equipment can give them the answer.
We have an arsenal of cameras for filming at night time. We've got thermal imaging cameras, we've got infrared, we've got low light cameras. Pretty much nothing can take place at night time without us being able to film it in some way.
Using this technology to film whales at night will be a first and could open up a whole new world.
So it'd be good to get into the water and find out what those humpback are doing at night, if they are doing anything. And that's why we're here, to get out there and just try and answer some questions.
Look at the whoa, 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 whoa! Unbelievable.
As daylight fades, 300 miles north, the Puma team has split to search the area where George found a kill.
This is the time that the pumas are just waking up, going around looking for dinner. It's a really good time to see them walking along the hillsides or in the valleys.
Tonight, we've got all 3 teams out in separate vehicles and driving all the tracks. We're just throwing everything at it tonight, getting everyone out there.
It's a large area. We need to spread out as far as we can and to use a variety of strategies if we're to see anything good.
This Puma will have a territory of about 25 square miles.
Are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah, okay.
They are each searching in a different part of its range.
This is great because we've got thermal sensing going on and visible light. Diego's out the roof with the spotlight. And I've got the little thermal spotting camera here, which will reveal the heat of anything warm-blooded that's out there.
Right now, we're using lights to find the pumas, but as soon as we see one, we gotta turn the car off, turn off all the lights, and switch to either infrared or thermal cameras that don't emit any light, because lights will scare the pumas away.
3 miles west, George is with 2 biologists who have studied the pumas here for years.
Yeah, what we're hunting for is green eye shine. Pumas have got very big eyes and they glow bright green in a headlight beam. So it'll be very obvious if there's one there.
Quick, quick, quick!
So something just ran out of the bushes. Where did it go? Oh, I see the eye shine.
It's moving too fast.
Fox. Yeah, it's a fox.
While Bryson and Justine continue their search, George leaves the safety of his vehicle to check out a ridge above the road with a military spotting scope.
There's definitely eye shine over there. It was just by that rock. Right there. Right. There's one just there. Yeah, it's it's just on the hillside, just halfway up the slope. Well, it isn't a very clear sighting. I just saw eye shine. It didn't look very green. It looked greenish, but it definitely wasn't a guanaco eye shine, and it was just over there. If it is a puma, then I'm right on the top of this ridge. I mean, it's obvious he'll go.
The animal heads down towards the road. George radios biologist Rodrigo, waiting in the vehicle below.
I just thought I saw a moving spot on a slight slope just southwest of you.
Okay, perfect.
Now Rodrigo must try to intercept the animal as it crosses the road.
Stop. Did you see something?
The binoculars?
Yeah, it's a puma, Christina. Absolutely 100% puma. Okay. This is great for filming. Give me the radio.
Rodrigo calls in Justine, who is 2 miles away searching on a different mountain track.
Rodrigo, how are you getting on, over?
Oh, yeah, we just spotted puma. Quick, it's just here.
Perfect.
Okay, we're on our way. Let's go. Let's move on.
Great news.
The challenge now is to stick close to the puma. With luck, Justine will get there in time to film its behavior at night. In the Magellan Strait, Gordon is hoping to solve the mystery of what brings a pod of humpback whales so close to shore at night.
There's so much about these animals that we don't know, so much about them that we'll never know. And the reason is because most of the things they do are done in complete darkness.
Gordon is relying on his thermal camera to see in total darkness, but there's no guarantee his technology will even detect the whales.
This has never been attempted before. We're answering some questions, we're learning new stuff, and we're only able to do this because of the technology that we're using. This camera, it's a thermal camera, so it sees heat sources. Humpbacks are incredibly well insulated. They get thick layer of blubber, so it may well be that humpbacks actually don't give off a temperature signal. They might be the same temperature as the water, we just don't know. This is the first time anyone's ever tried to use this technology to find these animals.
Within minutes, the camera begins to pick up unusual activity in the water.
Oh, there you go, you can actually see. Oh, you can see its tail splashing in the water there. That's interesting. There's this huge cloud of white vapour, and the reason it's white is because it's hot. It's hot breath being expelled from these huge lungs, and it shows up much warmer than the ambient water. Now, you see that? Oh, great! Huge tail splashes and clouds of water coming up from the surface, not just from it slapping its tail, but from its blowhole as well. We come out looking for behaviour, and this is not at all what I expected to see.
From this distance, Gordon can only speculate what the whales are doing.
It may be a way in lower light conditions for whales to communicate to each other, let them know precisely where they are. That sound, that huge thunderous sound of the tail slapping on the surface of the water will carry literally for miles. But they also do it to stun fish. They'll swim through a shoal and then they'll give a huge tail slap, literally stunning the life out of the fish, and then they swim back round, hoover them up. This is spectacular.
Humpbacks need to eat 1.5 tons of food every 24 hours. They must feed both day and night. But what brings a pod of humpback whales close to shore remains a mystery.
What we've seen at night time is whales moving closer into the close. What I'd love to do is get into find out exactly what they're doing. Look at that! Oh.
In Torres del Paine, the Puma team has found their cat. Now Justine wants to see just how it operates in the dark.
Hiya, hello. Where's the Puma then?
No, the Puma was...
Upwind and high above her position, a herd of guanaco are oblivious to the Puma's presence.
Yeah, this is a good scenario. Got loads of guanacos over there.
Hunting at night dramatically increases the Puma's chance of a kill.
It's going up over the ridge.
By day, it's almost impossible to get close enough to ambush prey as alert as these guanacos. At night, the Puma's superior eyesight gives it the advantage.
What's happening, Diego? Are they doing anything?
The Puma is sitting there, getting closer to the guanacos.
Justine fires up her thermal imaging camera, and the Puma's heat signature is immediately revealed.
Got it, I've got it.
Can you see it? Wow, it's trying to get closer. So, every minute, it's gonna be assessing the real chances that he has.
I'm getting it. Oh, this is fantastic. She's hunting. Wow. He's putting each paw down really carefully.
The darkness here is almost total, yet the Puma is utterly focused on its prey more than 30 meters away.
But he's perfectly equipped to be hunting at night like this. It's got a great sense of smell and hearing. Even though the moon hasn't come up and it's really dark out there, he can still see very well.
Guanacos have a highly developed sense of hearing. The contest is so finely balanced that the Puma must take the guanacos by surprise.
It's in full hunt mode. It's an amazing sign.
Yeah, it's waiting for the moment, for the right moment, but any mistake, and it's gone.
So this is an absolute gem of a situation. As long as I don't cock it up, and the Puma doesn't cock it up. Now, who knows what's going to happen? I've no idea.
Puma is about to make its move. The guanacos sense the danger, and the hunt is over.
That was such a shame. It looked like he had got everything right, and suddenly, bang, they were all going. It makes you realize just how hard it is for a Puma to hunt.
Filming a Puma hunt in such detail is a great start for Justine. George is traveling 2,000 miles north to solve another mystery. He's come to the Atacama Desert.
Well, the Atacama, where we are now, is probably one of the most inhospitable and dry places on Earth. There are parts of the land here that have never had rain ever in recorded history. I mean, it's that dry.
Almost nothing can survive here. But one nocturnal mammal is thriving, and George wants to know why.
I'm heading to this island, which is just a short way off the coast, and it's believed to have a colony of vampire bats, and that is really what I want to see. And they're only active, and they only fly when it's totally dark. Whoa, dolphin, look at that. Whoa. They're right under us.
Vampire bats are one of the most iconic creatures of the night, and the colony here is truly mysterious.
I want to find out what on earth a colony of vampire bats is feeding on an island that seemingly has few other animals on it. And it looks pretty inhospitable, but clearly there's enough there for vampire bats to eat.
To help him, he's calling upon the expertise of biologist Marcelo Flores and wildlife camerawoman Sophie Darlington.
Everything is actually completely fine. We put everything in dry bags, so all the kit's protected.
This is a hostile landscape littered with boulders and coated with guano, or bird excrement.
I've never been anywhere like this before. It's the one thing, it's just the overpowering stench, which is just everywhere.
Looking around, it's sort of like you've landed on the moon a bit. It's really desolate, like a lunar landscape. It's incredibly bleak, really dry, really arid.
George's first task is to find where the bats are roosting.
They say that the cave with the vampires in it is actually on the coast, so it's really important that we find the cave as quickly as we can, because if we can't find it now, we won't find it in the dark. This looks very like the cave. Yeah. Great. Smell is very different. That's not guano smell, that's something else. That's not nice. That really is not a nice smell. Acrid, that's urea, uric acid, really intense urine smell. And the rocks are really slippy with bat droppings. That's just absolutely thick, running down the wall. Oh yeah, there's one. It just flew out of two. Oh yeah. There's about 8 vampire bats just looking straight at me. 9, 10. Oh, there's more up there. This is the first time I've ever seen a vampire bat, and it's, what, 6 feet away from me? That is amazing. Oh.
These tiny bloodsuckers don't use their eyes to find their victims.
Their eyesight is fairly good, their hearing is good, they can echolocate, they have infrared pits around their face which they can sense the really hot part of the animal where the blood flow is highest, and they have teeth that are just razor sharp, and they just hack off a flap of skin, and as the blood wells into it they just suck it up with their tongue, and they have a little groove on their lip here which they press against the wound. And of course they introduce anticoagulants into the bite so that the saliva, it makes the blood flow, it just flow and flow and flow.
There's no doubting the vampire bat's supreme ability to locate mammals and extract their blood. What's eluded biologists is why this colony chooses to live here.
What are they eating? What animal are they extracting the blood from? That's what I want to know. I think the only way that we're going to find out is if we can catch one and glue a little tracker on its back and track it to where it's eating, and then we should be able to film exactly what animal it's feeding on.
The problem is how to catch a bat, as they are roosting out of reach. George must return at dusk to net one as it leaves the cave to feed. Back in the Andes, the Puma team prepares for dark.
Okay, ready.
Ready.
Rough.
They've had a good start, filming a puma hunting. Now, Justine wants to spend more time with this secretive predator.
What we really want to find out is what pumas actually do during the night. And that is when they do everything that pumas get up to. And we're going to need quite a lot of luck. But we're hoping to see some unique behavior.
With dusk approaching, their plan is to spot a puma as it leaves its daytime lair and goes out to hunt. Bryson has already picked up a trail.
Oh, look. Fresh tracks. Right here. There's another one right there. Look at that. Wow. That's a good one. Here's a nice paw print right here. It's big, but it's not huge. You know, a full-grown adult would be a bit bigger, about the size of the middle of my hand. So it's a teenager. He's been walking right here. And that's a pretty good span between footprints. Yeah. He's pretty good size, though. He's not little. We have a puma. There's a puma right here. He's just came out of the woods. Okay, he's walking along the edge. There he is. Wow. He's right there. Huh. He's looking. Nobody move. Everybody stay still. There he is, right there. He's walking in the brush. What's amazing is he's not making any sound at all. I can't hear him at all. God. I mean, he's an absolute silent hunter.
Pumas are at their most dangerous when they haven't eaten for several days.
He's hungry and he's looking for a meal. So I really got to be careful right now. The last thing I need to do is act like a prey animal. Under no circumstances can I run. That's the worst thing to do. The thing is, you don't hear a puma coming. If you're lucky, you see it.
Should it choose to, this puma is more than capable of killing a fully grown man.
Don't run. Don't run. He will attack you. He's just staring. Wow, God. You know, this is the top predator. And to be able to watch him walk out of the woods, look right at me, and not care at all. All right, he's walking away. That is the most elegant predator I've ever seen. What an incredible animal. God. No, the dark doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the pumas. With hearing and smell and vision like his, he really is the king of the dark.
The team have a cat in their sights. This is the opportunity they have been waiting for.
So I'm gonna radio Justine, see if she can get him on a thermal camera. Justine, this is Bryson. Come in.
Hi, Bryson. Can you hear me? Over.
We just found a puma.
We're on our way to you. Over.
Off the coast of the Atacama Desert, George and biologist Marcelo are heading back into the cave to catch and tag one of the vampire bats as it leaves the roost to feed.
Because they're so closely grouped together,
think it would be quite easy to catch one, because in the melee, as they fly off, one of them will surely go in the net. That's my theory, anyway.
I took my head off that one. Ah.
There's a few
That one there.
Yeah.
There's one there.
Yeah, and another one flew behind you.
Is it there? Got it. Whew.
These bats carry diseases including rabies. George and Marcelo must take care when handling them.
Oh, they're very strong, aren't they?
Yeah. You grab it?
Yeah.
You have it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
What an absolute beauty. Now, we'll glue it on the back, yeah? Back there.
Mm-hmm.
The miniature radio transmitter is carefully glued onto the bat's back.
Press it in, that's it, a little bit. Okay? And that should be it.
George must now track the bat across the island before the transmitter drops off.
This wee chap is the one that hopefully will show us where he and his mates are obtaining their evening meal, and who from, which is the key thing. Is its transmitter working? That's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I can hear you good.
I just found I think...
Justine and Rodrigo are on the trail of Bryson's puma.
Right here.
I started to see something coming. What's the puma?
Incredibly, the puma passes just meters in front of Rodrigo.
I saw it. I saw it run across the road in front of you.
Oh, that was extreme, actually. I'm nervous now. I'm trembling. It was really, really near.
And it ran off over the hill, clearly hunting. And then I heard all the guaracos just alarming. You could hear them all just going. And we can't see the puma now.
Yeah, you should go very slowly.
Maybe we should go around.
Yeah.
Pumas are ambush predators, with proportionally the longest back legs of any big cat. They can leap 10 meters through the air and bring down prey with a single bite to the neck.
Wow, we're so near.
Oh, there's the puma. Turn around, look. Turn around. I can see I saw what I shone just then.
Yeah?
Yeah. There.
By the time they find the puma,
Just there.
it's clear he's been successful.
I think he might have food in there. He's pulling at something.
Pretty sure there was a kill here.
Yeah, he's pulling at something. See the head going up and down?
Wow, this is incredible, wonderful.
This is a one-off, unique experience. It's absolutely amazing. We are right next to a puma on a kill, literally meters away, and we are so close we can just hear him crunching the bones, pulling at the meat. He's just completely absorbed in feeding. Not bothered about us whatsoever.
It's only been possible to capture these intimate moments of nocturnal behavior with Justine's specialist cameras.
He's probably going for a snooze. Do you hear those sounds? He's going, meow, meow, calling the mum, calling for his mother. means we actually should really have a good look round, because if the mother's turning up, we are in trouble.
The mother is far larger and more powerful than the juvenile. It's time for Justine and Rodrigo to leave. To film natural behavior, Justine needs a safer way to stay on a kill. "2,000 miles south, Gordon is making progress. He's tracked a humpback whale right into the coastline.
We've got a whale right here in against the shore. Heard a whale blowing right here. Just switched off the engine. See if we can hear it. It might seem a strange place for a whale to be so close to shore.
Gordon's hoping to discover why whales come into such shallow water, but his hopes are dashed. With a humpback so close to the boat, it's now too dangerous for him to get in.
Going in with a 35-ton animal in there, it's a bit scary. It's dealing with a set of circumstances that it will never have seen before, and we just don't know how it's going to react, and we can't take that risk.
Gordon will need to wait until the whale has moved off before getting into the water to discover what was attracting it.
You should hear it blow if it's close. Can't see anything.
I don't think there's anything out there. All right, let's do it.
Finally, the decision to dive is made as the whale moves away from the shore.
We're going to get into the water here. There was definitely a whale right in the place where we're intending to go. We think it's gone. They are an enormously powerful animal. If it comes back, I think we just have to get out of the water. Happy for me to get in, Richard?
Yeah, good to go.
Here goes.
Even with his lights, Gordon can only see 10 meters in the gloom. It's a claustrophobic and disorientating environment. Beneath the surface lies a thick maze of kelp, immensely strong strands of seaweed up to 30 meters long. The closer to shore, the thicker it becomes. Whatever it is that's attracting the whales is hidden deep within this impenetrable forest. Like tentacles, the weed clings to anything it comes into contact with, ensnaring Gordon at every turn. He has to abort his dive. If Gordon is to solve the whale mystery, he must find another way.
I guessed when we got into the water at night time there was going to be some problems that we didn't foresee, and the big problem, the insurmountable problem, is this kelp. It's like Sleeping Beauty's forest. You can't get through it. It's impossible. You just get tangled up in it. Yeah. Far from a result.
With 2 days left in the Andes, Justine still wants to spend more time with a puma. Her best chance is to stake out a kill. Condors circling high overhead are a hopeful sign.
We've been seeing lots of condors flying, circling just over the brow of this hill. And that can only mean one thing, that there's a puma kill around.
If Justine is right, then the puma will be resting up nearby, waiting to return after dark.
This is just going to be fantastic. This is what I've been waiting for. I can stake it out, I can get the hide in, the camera on the tripod, and just sit quietly and hopefully observe some behaviour. So far we've been driving around on the tracks, and that's been very productive for actually sighting pumas. But I want to see some behaviour now, and I want to get to know the personality of this puma.
In the next valley, Justine discovers the fresh remains of a juvenile guanaco.
Look at that. That's a really fresh kill. See where it's been bitten into you around the neck, just beneath the jaw. And it's opened up the guts, but nothing's been taken from the legs or the chest. I mean, there's most of the meat still left on it. So this cat's going to want to come back here.
Moving back to higher ground, Justine prepares for the puma's return.
I mean, it's essential that I'm here and ready before it gets dark, because that's when the puma is going to be on the move. So I've got this rather alarming pop-up tide. But this is going to be it. This is going to be home for the next 12, 14 hours. I just have to have a bit of luck now.
Justine has filmed big cats in the wild for over 20 years, but has only captured glimpses of pumas. Now, for the first time, she is hoping to spend the whole night with this elusive cat, documenting its natural behavior around a kill.
Just changed from the daytime camera to the nighttime camera, and there's a puma out there. Wow, it's right on the kill already. It just goes to show, doesn't it, that the moment it started getting dark, there came the puma. Starting to feed. Excellent. I can see that he's a male. So strong in the way he's just pulling at that guanaco. He's walking away. Ah, there he is. He's lying down. And this is beautiful to see this puma just feeding, and now he's just cleaning himself. But it's amazing just seeing this behaviour.
This is everything Justine hoped for. She will keep watch all night, her camera ready to capture footage never seen before. Back off the coast of the Atacama Desert, the vampire bats have left their roost to begin a night of feeding.
It seemed to me that the bats, when they left the cave, turned left. So we're now heading along the island in that direction. So if my hunch is right, they should be over here.
Using the VHF receiver, George and Marcelo hope to track the bats to their victim.
Got it.
Oh, I heard something.
Yeah.
Yeah? There.
Yeah.
Very faint.
Marcelo has identified the signal coming from George's tagged bat.
At first it was very faint, but it's a lot stronger now. It's sort of beep, beep, beep. And as long as you follow the bleep, then you will end up hopefully right at the bat.
Following the signal for over a mile, George is getting closer to discovering where the bats are going to feed. And on what.
That's very strong now. Sea lions, I can hear them. I can hear them, look. Here. we may be one step closer to solving the mystery.
Sea lions are a perfect food source for vampire bats. Now, George must get close enough to the colony to see them in action. Further south, Gordon is getting closer to solving the puzzle of why the humpbacks are coming so close to shore.
I thought I heard something back that way.
There's a humpback. Feel it close by, I can't see it yet, just heard it breathing.
Right here, look, whale here. Oh, you see his pectoral. He's going to come up again. Got a humpback whale just in front of us, less than 25 metres away.
The whale is deep inside the kelp forest that entangled Gordon earlier. The camera reveals that despite the current, the whale is not moving. It can't be feeding. The kelp is too dense. But the whale has deliberately chosen to be here, and Gordon has a theory why.
What could be happening is that the humpback whales in this area go into the kelp to rest. You imagine the effort constantly trying to deal with these currents. To save that effort, they go in towards the shore and wrap themselves up in the kelp.
Humpbacks are active day and night, expending vast amounts of energy, so they need to sleep. But for all whales, sleep is a challenge.
Humpback whales never truly sleep. They shut down one half of their brain at a time. For a humpback whale, breathing is a conscious effort. They have to think about every single breath. For us, it's an automatic response. You hear that big puff? That humpback is saying, I have to breathe now. So they can't afford to go to sleep entirely. They close down one half of their brain, rest that half, wake up that half, shut down the other side, and that way they get a full night's sleep.
Oh wow! Holy schmoly, look at that!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Incredible.
By wrapping themselves in the kelp, this pod has found an ingenious way of conserving energy while they sleep.
I think to be this close to a humpback whale takes your breath away. There are few animals on this planet that are as impressive as the humpback whale.
Gordon's night vision camera has finally been able to reveal what these whales are doing so close to shore. In the Andes, Justine has been watching the puma for 6 hours. Most nighttime encounters with these predators are fleeting. She's lucky to immerse herself in this cat's world.
It's just wonderful using this camera. I've no lights on, just sitting here in the dark. So it's not disruptive at all. I think I'm really gonna see exactly what he wants to get up to with his kill. But for now, he's just having a snooze.
Big cats spend much of their time sleeping. The puma only stirs as a storm front begins to move across the valley.
It's gusting at extreme speeds, and I'm not sure whether this hide is just going to blow over.
Oh my god. I swear that the tent's going to fall in.
Oh, Puma's got up. What's he doing? Can't be hunting. He's still got a big kill there. Oh, he's chasing some. He's probably just trying to keep warm. That's great.
For all cats, domestic or wild, play is a serious business. Strong winds and a clump of dry grass give the puma a chance to hone his hunting skills.
He's playing with it, just biffing it. It's so funny. He just looks like a domestic cat. It's like a secret little view on his life. I guess if he does this, sits here by the kill, just cleaning himself and sleeping, nothing else can come in. He's dominating it all night long. This is the sort of amazing behaviour that I just wanted to see. Just the cat alone, blissfully unaware of it being filmed, doing what it does in the night. I just really feel I'm seeing the true side of the puma. Oh, that's wonderful.
It's the perfect end to Justine's expedition. She's seen pumas hunting, feeding and playing, capturing unique footage of these beautiful animals and their nocturnal lives. In the Atacama Desert, George has called in wildlife camerawoman Sophie Darlington. Her thermal camera will be able to capture the vampire bats feeding.
What we need to do to nail it is to see them feeding.
That would be extraordinary.
That's it.
George has tracked them to a sea lion colony on the far side of the island. It could be a perfect source of blood for the bats.
We're coming down here. It's going to be absolutely awesome.
That would be incredible.
Sophie's night vision cameras should provide the answer.
Well, we're just waiting for the bats to arrive. We're almost set up now. So any minute now, the vampires will be flying.
Soon after George and Sophie arrive, so do the bats, flitting close to them, attracted by their body heat.
What do you got? Let's see. Come on.
Okay. There's a big bull, and there's been a bat flying around, completely harassing him.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah. There are two of them now. There's three of them.
That was the bite.
This is unbelievable. Look at it. It knew it was
And there's
there.
one at the back. There's more
right
than
there.
one.
The bats are all over them. All over them. They're following it. Look. There's a vampire bat. Look, it's just following it up behind it. Look at it. It's right on the back. It's just unbelievable. So they are feeding on sea lions.
The bats employ a clever strategy when attempting to feed on an animal many times their size. They land close by and creep towards an area of flesh the creature will struggle to defend.
They're attacking from the rear, and the sea lions know they're there, and they keep turning, putting their head up. And as the sea lion moves, they just keep following it. And the poor sea lions are being harassed. I mean, they really are aware of them.
Look at him hopping, George.
You know, it dispels the myth of the sort of animals having a quiet sleep at night. They're not. It's torment. It's absolute torment. They must be exhausted in the morning.
These bats, they're completely and utterly just going for it.
Wow.
One's just been hit by that wave.
I just can't believe what I'm seeing.
Weighing 40 grams, each bat can consume half its own body weight of blood in a single feed, lasting up to 20 minutes.
Is that a hot spot there? Is that the hot spot? That's where it's been. We can see the wound. Good grief. We can see the wound on the flipper.
Only the thermal camera can reveal this extraordinary behaviour.
The bats are going into the rear end because that's where it's hottest, and you can really see that in a thermal camera. They're very, very bright, which means the blood's very close to the surface, so easy access for the bats and an easy meal, I'd reckon.
To see the wound, the heat signature of the wound left by a vampire bat on the flipper of a sea lion in pitch darkness. That is truly awesome.
It is the last of the team's mysteries solved.
Now we know what's happening. That's why there's a permanent colony of vampire bats here, because there's a permanent colony of big, fat, blood-filled food bags for them.
It's the end of an incredible 6 months. The team have pushed themselves to the limit to capture unique footage of South America's nocturnal wildlife.
We've seen new species. We've seen behaviours that haven't been seen by anybody before. Yes! Got it! Look at that.
Using cutting-edge technology, they have uncovered natural behaviour never seen before.
That's fantastic. There's a whole night shift. Animals going about their business, doing things that we just never see. Wow, she's hunting.
They have witnessed dramas unfolding in total darkness.
It's incredible.
And started to unlock the secrets of a hidden and mysterious world.
Daytime is a practical desert when it comes to animal activity. And I suppose we're just beginning to scratch the surface with new technology to reveal a little bit of what goes on when it's dark.